3, 2, 1.
Brr, brr, ma, ma.
Warm.
Hello and welcome to Outside the Search Bar, the podcast where we try to answer questions without using Google. Season 2. I'm Jacob Schubach, and I'll turn it over to my sister and co-host,
Emily. Hi, everyone. So each week, Jacob and I are going to come prepared with questions that we do not know the answers to. We both have notes on our phones that are filling up with an astounding number of questions, which is honestly a testament to how little we know and how inquisitive we are as people.
We're very curious. We're very, very curious.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we do take listener
I'm
questions.
recording a podcast right now, Emmy.
We have a
Jacob.
guest. We were just speaking about listeners. If Emmy has a listener question, feel free
Do you
to
have a
dive in.
question? What's your question?
How does the moon turn red sometimes?
That is a great question.
That's a really good question.
I don't know the answer to that, but we will be answering that later.
Okay. A live listener question from Emmy.
That is a great question because I don't know the answer to it, but we will discuss it, figure it out, and get back to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for a live listener question. If you would like to provide a question, feel free to send us an email to searchbarpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on social at searchbarpodcast and send us a DM.
We're really smart, so we definitely have an answer to the question. It may or may not be correct.
It is not recommended, though, to show up at our house and ask us a question. Emmy did that because she lives at the same place as Emily.
Yeah, Emmy's allowed to do that, but strangers are not allowed to just come into the room.
That would be kind of crazy. There is actually a YouTuber who that's his shtick. He goes live on Twitch, and
He goes into people's houses.
No, anyone's allowed to go into his house, and so other YouTubers will just come through the door at any time and just start talking to him.
That seems odd.
Well, it's the other YouTubers know his address, other random strangers don't. All right. So now that that's over, let's talk about what we Googled this week. I personally Googled Sasha Colby's finale on RuPaul's Drag Race because she did a performance to her original song Goddess. And it was just a fantastic performance, and I needed to see it multiple times. Emily, did you see the performance of Goddess?
I did not see it. I mean, did you see it?
No.
It's definitely worth watching. Look it up. It's the last thing I quote retweeted on Twitter. I'm going to watch it every single morning when I wake up. Emily, what did you Google this week?
I Googled Love is Blind DC applications. And before everyone panics, I'm still dating John. And don't worry. Ew, I know, gross. So there is a meme page that I follow for Washington, D.C. And apparently one of the future seasons of Love is Blind is coming to D.C.
I have heard
and there's
that.
just there's a lot of memes going around because people are like, will this affect my security clearance? Which valid question, and honestly, probably.
Probably. It probably would.
And so I was looking at all the comments, and most of the comments were complaining about how long the application was. And I was like, what are they even asking you? And I went in, and it's only 70 questions.
70?
And it's basic 70. Yeah, but it's
a personality
age.
Test.
Yeah, age. When were you last dating someone? How long was your last relationship? Pretty simple questions, and then a couple paragraphs at the end of why do you want to be on this show? But I was like, that doesn't seem like that much. But a ton of people were like, I got halfway through and I just couldn't finish it.
Well, then obviously you don't want to be on the show.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you could fall in love with someone without seeing them?
I don't know.
Fair
question.
It is a good question.
Someone at my gym was saying that one of their friends posted one of the contestants from the current season of Love is Blind on their Instagram story, and it was so proud of my bestie, she's on Love is Blind this season, da 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 da. And then the season played out, and that girl ended up being the villain of the season. And so
was it Irina?
I don't remember.
Was it Jackie?
Maybe. That sounds kind of familiar, but it was the person at the gym's their friend's dental assistant. So if that person was a dental assistant, then yes.
That's Jackie. Yes, she was
Jackie.
a dental assistant.
Apparently, she was the villain of the season. And so my friend at the gym followed up at the end of the season and was like, hey, like, what happened with Jackie? And they're like, I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Allegedly. If Jackie is listening, I don't actually know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ambiguity, but the Love is Blind live reunion is this evening, and I'm very excited. This is the first time they're doing it live, so we could see some drama.
I'm personally excited for the Vanderpump Rules reunion because there was a cheating scandal. Have I watched a single episode of Vanderpump Rules ever? Absolutely not. But I did go to the Pump restaurant for my 23rd birthday, and the drink I
Oh.
had there was absolutely disgusting.
Oh no.
I like spilled half of it on the floor because it's like, oops.
Oops. Ew.
It was gross.
Very interesting. So, with that, let's head to our next segment, which is What's Trending, where we discuss the latest Google search trends from this week and give our thoughts, opinions, concerns, questions. So, Jacob, what's trending this week?
Emily, you found that Arnold Schwarzenegger filling a pothole was trending. Now you found this trend, so you wanted to give a little more context to what happened.
I didn't look at it. I read the headline and I was like, that's something to talk about because it's a very interesting headline. There was one of the articles said that it wasn't actually a pothole, it was a utility hole, maybe.
It was a
So,
utility hole.
Interesting. I'm very curious if this was like a PR stunt, if he just kept hitting it and was like, I'm over this, let me fill it myself.
I feel like it was the latter where he was just like pissed off and like was like, fine, I'll just do it myself. And then was taking pictures because he's of course in politics and like wanted to make a statement or something. Yes, but I do feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger was just pissed off and like wanted to do something. I also think it is very funny that he like filled in a utility hole that someone was working on.
Oh no.
I don't think anyone was in the hole when he did it.
I didn't even consider that. That'd be really just buried someone alive.
That would be a really
Quite
funny, like a really funny movie one day though.
I mean, as long as the person's okay.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure there'd be like another exit to the utility hole or something.
Probably.
There's been like a lot of road work lately in LA because it's been raining and LA is not built for rain. And so they just redid one of the roads, the road that my gym is on actually. And it was supposed to, like, they put up signs all over the street in all of the local businesses, and all of the signs were like, this is going to take one day. We're going to do one day of work, and like, that's it. It literally took a month.
Yeah.
And, like, there was like,
whoever
dust.
thought it was going to be one day, it was no.
Absurd. There was like dust in the air. There was like shit all over the street. It was a horrible experience. So I empathize with him filling in that utility hole because the construction in LA is just, they're just doing whatever at this point.
That's fair. That's fair. I feel like we have a lot of construction here, but like I haven't had any horrible potholes.
Do you
So
remember
that's nice.
when we were growing up? I think it was in Buffalo. There was like
Well,
that
we
one.
did grow up in Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I think the story took place in Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
There was that one guy who was really pissed off about all the potholes, and he just started taking spray paint and like painting penises around all of them so they would have to fill in the pothole.
Yeah, I do remember that. Was
That
that
was-
in Buffalo, or
I
is that
don't
just
know.
like a fun story that was trending? We still remember.
I don't know, but that was a good idea. But I do feel like if you did that in LA, they'd be like, well, whatever.
I also remember there was some story. I have no idea where this actually took place, but like there was this horrible pothole that like the neighborhood had been complaining about for years. And then like every year that the complaint went unnoticed, they would bring a birthday cake and just place the birthday cake at the pothole to celebrate its birthday.
Where they would put the birthday cake in the pothole.
I think it was next to it. I don't know
Oh.
if they ate it themselves, but
Iconic.
it really is.
Oh, I love that. Well, if you're a local government official, fill in some potholes for us today. We don't like
Please.
them.
It doesn't matter where you are. Like I'm sure there's a pothole that someone once filled. So
Yeah.
do it.
All right. Well, then that takes us to the question and answer, the bread and butter of the podcast. Emily, it is your turn to ask a question this week. What would you like to present?
Magnets?
Hmm.
What's up with those? How do they work? Where do they come from? Can you produce a magnet? Do you just find magnets and then shape them like magnets?
Magnets is also a great song by Lorde and Disclosure,
Hmm,
one of her few collaborations that she's done over the years.
interesting. Not quite the magnets I was referring to, but thank
But
you for your
also equally
contribution.
important, equally important.
Yes. Yes.
I'm also curious of like, why do magnets ruin electronics?
Or hotel key cards.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Will it ruin your credit card then?
Or magnet?
Let's try.
I think a credit card can ruin a hotel key card.
Oh,
That
interesting.
used to, back when I worked at Salvatore's Grand Hotel, plug for a very nice hotel in Buffalo. It was just Russell's 90th birthday.
Oh, wow. It also has a
Yeah.
very interesting museum exhibition thing out front.
Did you hear that someone vandalized it? They like
No.
destroyed all of the things out there.
Oh, no.
I
Why?
know. I don't know. I
People
was
are
very
insane.
upset.
That is kind of
Yes.
upsetting.
I think they even destroyed Russ's mausoleum.
Not his mausoleum. Is he
I
actually going to be
know.
buried there?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a very eclectic thing to be like, yeah, I'm going to get buried in this like mall parking lot for all intents and purposes.
I mean, it's not a mall. There's
It's,
only two hotels there. There's
it's
a
mall
Russell's one, and then
adjacent.
there's yeah.
It's like a Friendly's like 2 blocks up the street.
Mhm.
What was
There's
a Friendly's two up?
there's a Cracker Barrel still there.
Oh, I want to be buried by a Cracker Barrel.
I only remember.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Magnets.
Yeah, magnets are just odd.
My memory of elementary school or middle school, whenever we learned about magnets, is that there's like a positive end to something and a negative end to something. And when all of those atoms or whatever line up in the same direction, and all of the positive are on one side and all of the negative are on the other, that's a magnet.
That sounds legit. And it's like I think it's north and south though, isn't it? For a magnet, not positive, negative. Yeah. And I know you can like make other things magnetic because you remember when we used to like rub a magnet against a needle
Yeah. And then
and
you
then
could
you like
use the
put it
needle
in water or something and then it like works as a compass.
uh,
So you can make other things magnets, but that wasn't like
yeah.
forever.
But if you like put like wire around a nail, remember we did that experiment in 6th grade?
No.
You put like a wire around
That's
a
an
magnet, an
electromagnet.
electromagnet as well. But wasn't there also something? Oh no, that was static electricity. I was thinking of like when you like rub a comb through your hair and then put it next to the water in the faucet and you can make the faucet water like
Yeah.
spin up. That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is static electricity though.
Static electricity is crazy. I mean, electricity
Yeah.
and magnets seem kind of similar to each other to me.
Kind of. I but like a magnet, I don't like does that come from the earth? Is there just naturally magnetic material that we're like mining and producing into a my daughter went to Aruba and only brought me back this dumb magnet.
Well, I feel like that's manufactured magnet.
Yeah, but how do you manufacture a magnet then?
You rub another magnet against it. No, but I think the Earth itself is magnetic. The Earth itself is magnetic. Like the Earth has poles, right?
Yes.
And the poles are north and south. And so
Mhm.
everything on Earth has to adhere to the north and south poles of the Earth because at its center is like a solid core, right?
Yeah, I think there's like a solid core and then like the liquid core
Yeah. So I'm
outside of
assuming
that.
that like that solid core in the middle has some type of magnetic thing going on in there. And maybe even like the liquid core itself as well, of just like that shit's like liquiding around and causing magnetic waves. Because I'm sure it's like
Maybe.
an iron or something that has the potential to have magnets.
Did you know that the poles are moving?
I did know that.
I was just listening to another podcast and they talked about like the polar shift. And that's crazy. Period. That's all I have to say.
You're like, I don't know the implications of that, but sure.
I didn't actually finish the podcast yet.
I feel like the implications of that are like our electronics will act weird until they're like, oh, you need to flip this switch and then your electronics will work better again.
Oh, maybe. I don't understand magnets.
It's also like, why? It's like, for what purpose?
To make things stick together.
Yeah, but why?
Yeah, why? And like, I feel like I can understand the concept of a magnet sticking to a magnet, like opposites attract. Got it. But like magnet just sticking to metal, why does that work?
Yeah, why would there be like naturally occurring magnets?
But do you think we just invented that? Like, who came up with that? Because that's wild. It's like,
Yeah, who found out about magnets?
I think they have to be like naturally occurring.
I don't think so.
Isn't there like a mineral that's magnetic?
Magnesium? No, I think that's like part of the like what is that? The Rohr scale, or like how you find out what mineral a mineral is.
I think the
No, that's more.
is it the Rohr? More.
More?
That's the hardness scale.
The
though.
hardness scale.
Like a diamond is a 10.
It's that. But it's like the dichotomous key for rocks, whatever that is.
What's a dichotomous key? Is that the
It's like how you tell like what
tree
evolution
thing? Yeah.
something is.
Okay. I think there's naturally occurring magnets,
For sure.
and I think we harness their power to mass produce magnets. I have no idea how electromagnets work. Like that's a conversation for another episode.
We don't know anything about that. Yeah, my guess is that they also naturally occur, but I do think there's like a way to manufacture them. There's got to be like a way that they can control it with like electricity or like some type of tool that like makes something that's loosely metal into a magnet.
Yeah, I think that makes sense because, like you said at the beginning, where it's just like aligning the poles of the elements,
Thing.
atoms.
Mm-hmm.
Surely we can do that.
One time when I think I was in 4th grade, we learned about magnets and they gave us really, really strong magnets that were really small. And I brought them home because I was like, ooh, this is like super fun. And then I like pretty much immediately dropped it underneath the refrigerator and it got stuck there forever. Our mother was like, nope, that's it.
I mean, what's the point of trying to get that, you know?
Yeah. Gone forever.
Other than you try to get your really cool magnet bag.
Yeah, it was a really cool magnet. Actually, I feel like we may have like gotten, because there was 2 of them. I think we may have gotten one of them and like the other one got stuck or something. But then I think I dropped the other magnet again.
Really? Pamela also just didn't like magnets on the refrigerator. So like
it's like I'm just not going to tell anyone about that one until years later on a podcast.
Pamela, if you're listening, the code word is
magnets. All right. Do you want to Google the actual answer?
Yeah. How do magnets work?
Yeah. I'll Google why is the Earth magnetic.
National Geographic Society. This seems trustworthy.
Okay. I found the answer from climate.nasa.gov. I do trust that. Earth's magnetosphere protecting our planet. So the magnetic field of Earth is generated by the motion of the molten iron in Earth's core. So it's the molten part, the liquid part. The magnetic field protects our planet from cosmic radiation and from the charged particles emitted by our sun. It also provides the basis for navigation with a compass.
Good.
It's like you can find out where you are, and also it stops radiation. That's kind of cool. I didn't
Do you ever
realize
just like
that
marvel at how are we alive? Like,
Really, like a lot of things are working in our favor, and any of them could go wrong at any time.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I wonder if
Okay.
like other planets don't have that and why that's like life isn't possible there.
Maybe. I mean, it does seem like there's a lot of things happening on Earth that just like,
Seem perfect conditions for life.
yeah. Okay, so this says all magnets have north and south poles. Opposite poles are attracted together, while the same poles repel each other. When you rub a piece of iron along a magnet, the north-seeking poles of the atoms in the iron line up in the same direction.
Wait, atoms and iron only?
I guess so. The
Interesting.
force generated by the aligned atoms creates a magnetic field. Oh, that's very interesting. Aligned was like hyperlinked, and I clicked on it, and it just says align to put in a straight line.
Perfect.
Okay. This is very interesting. There's magnetic sand on the beaches of La Ventanilla, Mexico.
Oh.
The iron oxide in the sand is attracted to the strong magnetic field produced by the magnet.
So is that like those iron filing things that we used to have where like you could draw on things? Is that what that sand
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Okay, so every atom has electrons, which are
Right.
particles that carry electric charges.
Okay.
They spin around the nucleus.
Hmm.
This movement generates an electric current that
Right.
causes each electron to act like a microscopic magnet.
Great.
So, in most substances, equal numbers of electrons spin in opposite directions. So things are going all over the place, which cancels out their magnetism. That is why materials such as cloth or paper are said to be weakly magnetic. Are you going to tell me that everything is magnetic, but just at varying levels?
I guess that makes sense. Because if everything has electrons, then like, why wouldn't it be magnetic?
Everything's a magnet. That is not what I thought would come from this episode.
Is it really though? Is everything really a magnet?
Try Googling that.
Because like, is this ceramic mug a magnet? I mean, like very, very small, infinitesimally small. I mean, I guess because the magnets in my hand can attach to the magnets in this and it, and that lets me pick it
Everything's a
up.
magnet.
Everything's a magnet.
In fact, every material, wood,
No, it's
plastic,
not.
even water, will respond to a magnetic field if it's strong enough.
So if we made a, well, I guess we're all responding to the really strong magnetic field that is Earth's magnetic field, and like that's how that's how we stick to the Earth. It could be. It could be.
I think
I could've-
gravity is a little bit more of a
Yeah, no,
clear
but maybe
answer
that's
to
what
that.
gravity is.
It's just magnetism. Everything's a magnet.
Oh man. Oh wow. We are really in it now.
So it also says in substances such as iron, cobalt, and nickel, most of these electrons spin in the same direction.
Hmm.
This makes the atoms in these substances strongly magnetic, but they are not yet magnets. To become magnetized, another strongly magnetic substance must enter the magnetic field of the existing magnet.
Okay.
So I guess to be a magnet, you need to be attracted to something else.
Okay.
I can't believe everything's a magnet.
I'm
Wow.
I'm searching how to manufacture magnets.
Okay.
Okay, so I put it into ChatGPT. Ooh. Okay, so first you have to have material selection. The most common materials are, like you said, iron, nickel, and cobalt, as well as some rare earth metals like neodymium, samarium, and dysprosium. All right. So then you have to use melting and casting. So that chosen material is melted in a furnace and then cast into the mold of a desired shape. This process is known as casting. Then you press and sintering. The cast material is pressed into the desired shape and size. The pressed material is then heated in a furnace to a high temperature to fuse the particles together in a process known as sintering. After the sintering, the magnet is shaped and machined to the final shape and size. And then magnetization is the final step. This is done by exposing the magnet to a strong magnetic field. The magnetic field aligns the atomic spins in the materials, creating a permanent magnetic field. So basically they're like, here are little rocks that we made. This is a big magnet. And now you're magnets.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this says natural magnets are from the stone magnetite, not magnesium. And were
Fair.
first discovered in the region known as Magnesia in Greece nearly 2,000 years ago, according to California State University.
Wow. Everything is a magnet.
Everything's a magnet. Do you think you could like find a magnet?
I mean, if you
Like,
went to
can you go magnet
Magnesia,
mining?
yeah, why not?
Can you go magnet mining?
What's a magnet mine look like?
That'd be fun. Rare earth magnets are typically mined along with other elements, so they're not pure elements.
All right. Do we feel like we've sufficiently answered your question?
I more than answered my question. That was everything's a magnet.
Groundbreaking.
Wow. I had no idea.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yes, I
perfect.
feel like I learned a lot.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that takes us to our listener question, which came in earlier in the podcast from Emmy. The question,
Our
I
live
believe,
studio audience.
our live studio audience. The question was, why does the moon be red sometimes?
Very good question. Thank you, Emmy, for coming in and asking. I think that's a lunar eclipse.
I thought that was like a harvest moon, like a blood moon or something.
I think, okay, so I do think the moon becomes red when there's a full lunar eclipse. Because I think what it is like, I need to use my hands, excuse me. My face is the sun, okay?
Oh boy.
Moon, Earth, the
Mhm.
sun is shining its light this way.
Right.
But the Earth is blocking it.
Mhm.
But I think there's just enough sunlight getting around the exact perimeter of Earth that is still reflecting on the moon, which is turning it red. Because something about red wavelengths show up.
Well, wouldn't the Earth just be blocking the moon? And like
Yeah,
that's
but
like
I
a
think it's like
full, or like a new moon.
I think it's like mostly blocking. Like I don't think it's like 100% perfect. Like
It's like
98%.
See, I thought a blood moon was like a full moon where you can see the entire moon, but it was just like looking a little red.
Maybe.
It's something about the angle of incidence and the way that like the light and the red light is reflecting onto the moon. I think you're so right with that.
Maybe it's magnets.
It could very well be magnets.
It could be. Most magnets do have a red side and a blue side, so
Oh, that is true. I hadn't thought of that.
shall we Google it?
I think let's Google it because I have no other ideas.
Why is the moon red? A blood moon happens when Earth's moon is in a total lunar eclipse.
Oh, wow.
While it has no special astronomical significance, the view in the sky is striking as the usually whitish moon becomes red or ruddy brown.
Ooh.
Lunar eclipses can only happen during a full moon when the sun fully illuminates the surface. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess you can't have a lunar eclipse when it's not a full moon. Fascinating. Okay.
I don't really understand what you said.
Because I think it's like the reason we get different phases of the moon is because the moon's in a different position,
Mhm.
that the sunlight is hitting it from a different angle. So there's no way for the Earth to be in the way when the sun and the moon are on different sides.
Got it.
Because like if we're seeing half the moon lit up and it's like this,
Mhm.
because this is the moon and this is Earth, like
Right.
we can't block that. So it's only when we're like this that the sun would be directly showing the full moon.
Ah.
Science. The last total lunar eclipse occurred November 8th, 2022. And the next blood moon is March 13th to 14th in 2025.
Wow. That's far
According
out.
to space.com.
Seems like a solid source. They're
So,
dedicated to the bit.
yeah, they are.
All right.
Awesome.
Hopefully that answers your question, Emmy.
I'll go tell her directly because she doesn't listen to this podcast, believe it or not.
Believe it or not. Awesome. Well, that was our episode. If you think we did a good job and you think you enjoyed that, if you think you did,
If you're not sure, maybe
You're
mull it
fine.
over for a couple of days.
and then be sure to find us on social at Search Bar Podcast. And my handle is I got Shubach, IGOTSCHUPBACH across all platforms.
And if you have a question that you want answered, please do not just walk into the room. You can email us at searchbarpodcast@gmail.com. And once you mull over what your feelings, if you decide that you like us, please leave us a review on whatever platform.
We want to give you
On whatever
space
platform
to feel.
you're listening to this on.
And then when
Yeah,
you're
we
done with that,
respect-
go to another platform and also give us 5 stars there.
please. But only should you decide to do that. There is
Yeah.
absolutely no pressure, but
But
you
please,
do you. But please.
from one magnet to another, like please.
Like, I feel the attraction between us.
Yeah. Mhm. Like,
Mhm.
I feel the attraction
So-
between your finger and the 5-star button.
Until
But-
next time,
Happy searching.
happy searching.
Outside the Search Bar is a Perfectly Done Toast podcast production.